Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video, and today we're going to be going through the Betaflight setup for this guy. This is the cheapest quad worth building. Continuing that series, I did the build video for this. Before we get further into the video, I just want to mention that I will be doing a giveaway for my Patreon supporters. I will be giving away this quad fully set up and tuned. Once we're done with it here, we still have to set it up in this video, but I will be mailing it out to a lucky Patreon subscriber. So if you wish to help support the channel and be entered to win this giveaway, there's a link in the description below, and I'd appreciate your support. And I do apologize for this video being a little bit later than I wanted. I was just in Muncie, Indiana last week for MultiGP International Open, so that took a whole week, and then just getting back into things here, starting to make some videos out. Alright, so let's just go ahead and get everything all connected up into Betaflight. And now this isn't going to be super beginner orientated. I'm going to assume you know most of the things. I'm just going to be showing you my setup and everything that I do to a new quad to get it all set up and working. I'm not going to show you how to install the driver, etc. There's tons of other videos on that. So let's get right into it. Just go ahead and plug the micro USB in. First of all, I have no idea what firmware this board is running. If we come up here in the top left, you can see it's actually running Betaflight 3.5.2. So I'm actually going to update that to 3.5.7, which is my current favorite firmware. So I'm going to go down to CLI and I'm going to type version just to see which hex target they're running for the board. You can see they're using the Dal RC F405. So if we come over here, disconnect firmware flasher. And I'm going to unplug the board, and I need to replug it in while holding this little button there. I think I got it. Yep, you can see it says DFU in the top right. So we can come over here. I'm just going to look for the Dal RC there in alphabetical order. There it is, Dal RC F405. 4.0.4, this is the newest. I'm going to go down to 3.5.7, just my personal favorite firmware. I'm going to load online. Wait a second for this to load. My internet is extremely slow, if you guys didn't know that. And then we're going to hit flash, and there it goes. Okay, it's all done. We should be able to come up here and hit connect. And there we go. We can just verify everything is working. So before we go any farther, I'm actually going to go ahead and bind this little XM Plus. Okay, I've got the receiver all bound up. I actually had an issue with these XM Plus. I have no idea. They're on the wrong firmware. I can see that from the LED lights indicators, but I can't flash them. I tried both my radios and they won't flash, just keep saying failed, so I ended up just swapping in an XSR. It's a little bit bigger, doesn't really fit in there that well, but it's just going to have to do. I plugged this in and it worked right away. So something's wrong with these XM Plus, and I could not get them flashed. So, continue with the setup. Let's just go straight to ports. If you are going to be using the accelerometer, now is where you can calibrate it on a flat surface, but I just turn it off since I fly only acro. But actually, it is a good point while we're here to just hold the quad and check that everything is correct, tilting left, tilting right. As you can see, it's good there. That's only going to be wrong if you mount the flight control upside down or 90 degrees or some other configuration like that. For some purposes, you might. It is handy, and you can change that, but just make sure that is correct there. So let's go into the ports, and if you watched the build video, we soldered the receiver in UART1, so I'm going to turn serial RX on here. Do not turn this configuration MSP off here. It probably won't let you turn it off, because if you turn this off, it'll brick the board and you'll have to reflash it, so just leave that alone. And I'm pretty sure for the VTX, for the smart audio, down on UART5, we're going to go over here and select TBS Smart Audio. It might be Tramp, I'm not sure with this VTX, but we choose those there, and that's all you have to set up. Do not turn it on here, don't turn it on here. This is exactly all you have to set up, and then hit save and reboot. So let's come down to configuration. Here you can change, I'm going to do motors out because I like to run that. It's on one shot 125, I don't know why it defaults to that. I'm going to go to, actually, is this a, I'm just going to D-Shot 600. I don't remember if this is a BLHeli32 ESC or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but I just default to D-Shot 600, and then I lower this to 3.5%, get a little lower idle. We don't need to touch anything here, and then this will go away, arming here. So I turn the accelerometer and magnetometer off. We don't have one of those, but I just run that off, and then I run 8K all the time, and then I can just put in pilot name here. Actually, let's not do that. That's lame. Let's do that. I leave that alone. Here, you need to select serial receiver and S-Bus. It'll probably already be selected since you turned serial receiver on. Then scrolling down, I'm going to turn on OSD, air mode, and that's it. Then I'm going to do save and reboot, and we are done for the configuration tab. So next, we can go to power and battery, but we're not going to be doing anything. Okay, so we come over to the receiver tab, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in my quad to power the receiver so the radio is connected, so you can see everything should be working here. If it's going crazy, like if it's just doing this, you probably need to change this channel order on FreeSky Spectrum, etc. there, or you can do it manually through the letters and numbers, but it is all set up good for FreeSky here, so we can just move the sticks and just verify that everything is working as intended, which is perfect. So RCSI channel, this I did not set up RCSI. Stick low threshold for FreeSky here, you can see on my throttle here on the left, actually goes down to 987, so we're going to have a lot of deadband if we leave it at 1050. So I just set it to 1005, and then stick high, it's only at 1900, I set it to 2000, that way we get more resolution. And then for the deadband, as you can see, the quad is drifting a little bit, and you could fix that with a click of trim, but I just like to leave mine centered and just add in 5 deadband, and boom, rock solid there. So that is good, and we can just check our switches are working. I set up an ARM and a turtle mode switch. So we go to just check out the PID tuning. I leave everything stock to start with. However, I do change my rates. I'm going to put in my race rates. So these are pretty low. Actually, that's wrong. That needs to be 1.05. 0.05. So here's my rates if you guys you guys are always asking. So then these will just go down to 0.62, 0.62, and I think I raised that to 0.72. That looks about right. So I'm just going to raise the TBA to 15. I always just do that. No real reason. And then anti-gravity gain, I always just already boost it to 7 just to start off, and then I leave any other tuning or filter settings. Let's see, everything PT1, yeah, notches off. So the defaults on 357 are really good, so I just leave that until I actually fly it. So to come over to modes, this is where we're going to be setting up the ARM. So I have this back left switch here. So I'm going to add ARM, and I'm going to leave this on auto, and it should pick it up as long as you have a switch set up. I'm not going to go over that. There's plenty of videos on that. So I want it to ARM here. I'm going to come down. The only other thing I want is flip over after crash. Leave that on auto. I want that to be down. Just going to set it up the same. Save that. Nothing else. Hide unused. And there we go. There's our 2 modes, ARM and turtle mode. So now we can come down to motors and get into the fun part. So my battery's already plugged in. Make sure your props are off. Click this box, and then here I just test to make sure everything is working, and I'm going to be testing motor directions. So since we set these up earlier, we want to be doing reversed directions, so I'm just going to put my finger on them so I can tell the direction easily. So we want the prop to spin outwards, just like that. So this one is the correct direction, this one is the correct direction, this one's wrong, and this one. So the front, these 2 fronts are wrong. So if we look at the quad, turn it this way. So this is motor 1, 2, 3, and 4. So motors 2 and 4 need to be reversed. So I'm going to pull this back down, and while we're here we can just check. Oh, they actually are. They are incorrect. It's a good thing I looked at that. Did I mount the ESC? They must want you to mount the ESC differently. So we're going to need to do some resource mapping, because motor 1 should be this back one right here, as you can see in the diagram. Up here on the screen, but it is not. And then motor 3 should be this one. If I can grab it, I'm missing it. And it is not. So we're going to have to do resource mapping as well. So actually, let's do that first before I change the ESC signals, because I'm pretty sure I need to do that or else I'll reverse the wrong ones. So I'm just going to, I do it a really bad way. So this wants to be motor 1. So I'm just going to find what motor that is. Okay, so motor 3 and motor 1. So I'm just going to swap motor 3 and 1. Kind of do it by trial and error. So we go over, we hit resource. I spelled it wrong. So resource, and then you do resource again, and then motor 1, none, and then spelled it wrong again. Resource, motor 1, none. Resource, motor 3, none. Resource, motor 1, and then I come up here, and motor 3 is A10, so I'm going to type A10. Of course, type the wrong button. I have my computer in an awkward spot here, so I can't type that easily. And then I'm going to go to resource motor 3 and set it to 1, so it's B00. There we go. And then I'm going to hit save. It'll go through and reboot. We can connect up here, go back to motors, and hopefully motor 1 is correct now. Yep, so there is motor 1. So let's find motor 2. Like I said, I don't really do it the proper way. I just kind of, do it by trial and error. So right now I'm going to swap 2 and 3. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Resource first. Make sure this comes up. And usually stage close out. Fine. Okay, swap those 2. Come back and check. Check 1. Good. 2 should be there. 3 should be down here. So I can swap 3 and 4. So I'm going to swap. If you're really smart, you can write things out and get more right on the first try, but I also just do this way. Works good for me. Okay, I've done the Betaflight resource remapping, so let's just verify 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go, so all good. So now let's verify directions. Okay, so 1 is spinning correctly, 2 is wrong, 3 is right, 4 is wrong. So it's still 2 and 4 that are incorrect and need swapped. So if we just disconnect from Betaflight, come on over to the Heli Suite configurator for Mac. It's going to be looking for a new firmware update, and my Wi-Fi is super slow, so no, I don't want to download that. So the proper way to do this is plug it in, connect, plug in the battery, and then hit read setup, but we're already all plugged in. Props are off, so we're okay. So I'm going to hit the connect, then I'm going to hit read setup. Here we go. So this is, let's see. So it is Heli 32, obviously, if it is connecting. So we could change to DShot 1200 if we wanted. So while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and change the motor timing to, I think, what is it, 24 degrees? I don't know. I heard 24 was good, so I'm just going to do that. Change the PWM frequency to 48 kilohertz. Beacon delay, so this is if it's not having a signal when it'll start to beep. So if you lose it, it'll start beeping. I do that in 3 minutes, and I turn the volume down a little bit. Now this other stuff matters because we're using DShot. And then, so then we can hit right setup. I'm going to leave all 4 connected here. So that was for the general settings. So now we need to swap motors 2 and 4, the direction. So I'm going to highlight only 2. I'm going to hit reverse the motor direction. So write that setup, and then I'm going to come down to 4, reverse that one, write that setup. There we go. We can disconnect. It'll reboot. And come back over to Betaflight. And we can go to Motors tab. Betaflight cannot be connected at the same time as Heli, just for your information. And if we look, that is spinning correct, that is spinning correct, all good. So we should actually be able to arm, yeah. Arm's just fine, doesn't freak out, everything's spinning the right way. That is a good setup on the motors. For OSD, this is the last thing that I do. Right away, I'm just going to change it to NTSC, because if you put it in PAL and you have this extra room, things can get in the way. So I'm going to have main bat voltage, timer 1, craft name, throttle, that. Don't want warnings. I don't need the warnings. Average cell voltage. What else do we want? Pretty sure that is it. So we come over right here to timer 1. I like this to be total arm time, not on time. And I set the alarm to 0 to disable it. Okay, so now everything is in the middle, so we have to move it. I like putting my cell voltage in the middle. We got cheap boy over here. I like putting my current on the right. I put the VTX channel in the top right, and then I put throttle and fly down here. Voltage there. Yeah, there we go. I think that's it. And then I'm going to go hit and save. And then because I'm cool, I'm going to go into Font Manager, hit Betaflight font, and upload. and it just changes the way the font looks. I just, personally, it's my favorite. So I think we are fully set up there. So let's just check everything is correct. Don't mind my antennas, I just kind of have the receiver slid in there for now. So let's give it an arm, see if it freaks out. Nope, that is all good, and I just kind of tap it, because if the motor direction was wrong, or you didn't have reverse props wrong, or the orientation of the board was wrong, it's going to freak out, so even without props. So I just give it a little tap, all good. Just check things one last time with the directions. That is good. Might as well test our failsafe. We can shut the radio off. Kills it very quickly. And then let's rearm it here. Will it rearm after failsafe? Yep. So just to test, our turtle mode switch shouldn't get anything. Yep. And if I move the roll stick, I'll get 2 spinning. Yep. So turtle mode is working well. And then we can just see if we can arm it upside down. Yep. Just to make sure the accelerometer and arming angle, everything is all correct. So that is going to do it for the video with the Betaflight setup for the cheapest quad worth building. You can see that the freaking camera mounts actually broke off while I was filming this video. These stupid little PLA, they just snapped right off. So I'm going to have to make something out of TPU. I'll upload the file so you guys can print it if you want. But yeah, those camera mounts are trash. And I need to find a better place to stick this receiver because I just kind of hung it out for now. Since, once again, I had problems with these XM Plus, they just would not flash. So, wasted way too much time on that. So hopefully you could tell the setup itself was actually pretty simple. I don't do any fancy bells and whistles. It's just pretty much checking things on. And the setup of this quad was very similar to how I set up my racing quads. The big thing is just knowing where you solder things. For example, where you put the receiver, what UART, and the video transmitter for smart audio, and just turning those things on. Otherwise, it can be a little bit of hassle to figure out and get things working. But overall, the Betaflight setup for 3.5.7 is pretty simple. And hopefully this video helped you guys out. And if you are using this exact build, either I'm going to upload the file or you can message me and I'll just send it to you. I'm going to give you the whole dump for this. So if you're using the same components, or at least the same flight controller, really, I can just send you the dump. You can copy and paste it and it should be ready to go. So that's going to bring us to the end of the video. Once again, I will be giving this quad away now that I'm finally got it set up, and after I do a little bit of flight testing with it here for a couple more videos, I will be giving it away to my Patreon. So if you subscribe at $5 or more, you'll be entered to win this giveaway, and others coming soon. I'll be doing like sets of motors and stuff, so it really helps me out, and I really do appreciate it that you guys want to help support the channel. I hope this cheap build series is entertaining and helpful so far. There'll be a link in the description where I built this quad, as well as to all the parts if you are interested. It costs about $165 all up. Not too bad of a price, and hopefully should perform really well. So yep, links in the description. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.